All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. For our closed session, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Furman?
Present.
Councilmember Holmes?
Present.
Councilmember Miller?
Present.
And Mayor Ortiz?
Present.
And Mayor Lupe is running behind.
All right, thank you. Do, you
Mayor
have
Pro
any,
Tem, sorry.
do we have any public comments?
No comments, Mayor.
No public comments? And, all right, I think that's it. We'll go ahead and adjourn the closed session. All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Furman,
Present.
Councilmember Holmes,
Present.
Councilmember Miller,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit,
Present.
and Mayor Ortiz.
Present. Thank you. Do we have, oh, sorry. And then for invocation, we have Pastor Robert Chapman from Garden Fellowship Church. Right. Yes.
Lord, we are grateful to be here, and what could a prayer be without your word, Lord? Isaiah 1 tells us, come, let us reason together, and that gives us a clue that you desire appropriate discussion and intellect in our points and our thoughts, Lord God. And it says in Matthew, blessed are the peacemakers, and that just shows that you desire people to be kind and gentle. So as these wonderful men and women come together to discuss important topics for their community, we pray that they have ears to hear, a heart of love, and a mind of wisdom, Lord. Let those things of importance be brought to the surface, and we just pray also for a resolve for anything that needs to be taken care of. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. And then for the Pledge of Allegiance, Sabdi.
I don't believe we have Brianna
Okay, no worries.
present.
Bianca, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
City Attorney, do we have any report on closed sessions?
Thank you, Mayor. We have no items to report out of closed session today.
All right, thank you. And would you... All right, we'll come on down for the presentations. We have first one, introduction of new employees.
Just your text. Inside yours too. Yeah, please come down. Well, while the city council is coming down, we are so fortunate to have new members of Team Indio to help serve the almost 100,000 residents here in Indio. And I think this is a great opportunity not only for the city council to meet you if they haven't already, for you to be recognized here, but for those that are watching within the community to see that these new members of the team are here, eager, willing, and able to serve and provide these services so critical for us. So if you can come down, we have a goodie bag that the city attorney and chief will help pass along. And if you'll stay down here, we'd like to have a group photo, and I know the mayor would like to say a few words as well. But and there are some folks that are new employees that weren't able to be here this evening, but those present, we'd like to have this great photo op. So first, Alan Garcia, an accountant in our finance department. Also in finance, Julie Nalibwama. Alan, just kind of hold tight here. In code enforcement, Maria Rubio. Yeah.
Don't be shy, you're going to see a lot of us. Welcome.
Right, good to see you. So, dispatcher, Josue Mendoza. He is, he's doing great. Senior planner, Audrey Nickerson. Good to see you. There's their goodie bag, swag bag. Facilities maintenance, Victor Lopez. see. Marketing and Public Information Officer, Jessica Mediano.
Welcome to Indio again.
Great, congratulations. And we do have a handful of others. I'll just read out their name in case you're here. They didn't indicate they'd be able to make it, but Facility Maintenance, Victor Bejarano. Fleet Maintenance, Abran Salas. One of our painter, Jose Hernandez. We'll see. Francisco Altamirano and Community Improvement Aid. Carla Martinez. Nancy Monterroso. Cesar Paz. Great. Well, let's give them all a hand again. And if we'll get a good photo up, and on behalf of the Mayor and City Council, let Mayor Ortiz say a few words while we photo op this. Come on.
Do a photo first? We'll do the photo first.
We swear we don't bite.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Oh, sure. Yeah, just wanted to say welcome, and we really appreciate your guys' commitment to our city. And this is a time of growth. As you see, we have a lot of new employees, and we're also just in a learning process, right? We have new systems, we have new contracts, as you'll see today in our program. We have our new IT systems, our parks are going up, so we just have a lot of new programs. We're all learning and growing together, and we're really excited to have you all on the team. So welcome. For our second presentation, we have a proclamation for domestic violence awareness, and we have Adriana Moreno from Safe Family Justice Centers joining us here. Yeah, come on up. I want to thank you for joining us. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you, and thank you for all the work that you do, and we want to give you a little bit of time to share a little bit about your work.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Adriana Moreno. I'm the CEO for Safe Family Justice Centers. On behalf of SAFE, we would like to express our deep gratitude and appreciation for the honor to accept this recognition. Thank you so much. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So this was created in observance to raise awareness about how to report domestic abuse and encourage community members to speak up and support. So we want to thank you because our chief here has been very supportive as well, city council as well. I'm here with Selena as well. She is our supervisor here in Indio. So for any help, please call Safe Family Justice Centers for that. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much for providing those services to our community. We know this is a really difficult job, but I'm sure it's very rewarding as well. You're making a lot of big changes out there, changing a lot of families, so really appreciate your work. And so I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation. It says, whereas domestic violence affects the lives of many in the county of Riverside, and its impact is not only felt by the victims, but their children, families, and communities. Whereas far too many people suffer abuse at the hands of their partners, and domestic violence victims can be of any age, race, religion, or economic status. And whereas domestic violence is not a private family matter, but a crime, the consequences of which reach with devastating effect on the community, schools, and workplaces of our nation. And whereas the City of Indio, in partnership with the Safe Family Justice Centers of Riverside County, seek to provide protection and prevention services towards ensuring family justice through collaborative, community-based, comprehensive centers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Oscar Ortiz, Mayor for the City of Indio, along with the Indio City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage all citizens to participate in activities that bring attention and funding to this important issue. Thank you. right, and then we have one more presentation. We have Proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we actually have Councilmember Furman will be accepting this proclamation. So we'll let him share a few words here. There you go, Mr. Furman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Councilmember Furman here. Some of you may be wondering why I'm accepting this proclamation. Well, just to share a quick story with you, my mother passed away from breast cancer approximately 3 years ago. And through that whole process, I really learned how important it is to really support and advocate for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and really advocate for those early screenings, advocate for funding, advocate for resources in our communities, especially communities of color, because sometimes these things are not talked about, but it's very, very important that we all talk about not just breast cancer, all health care, and really bring this conversation to the forefront. And also for men, breast cancer isn't unique to just women. Men can also get breast cancer. So it's important that we all advocate and support Breast Cancer Awareness Month and continue to spread the word. I'm a father of 2 daughters, right? So I start that at an early age all the way up to their adults, so they know that they have to be screened as well. So I appreciate the support by the City Council, and I support this proclamation by the Mayor. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Furman, for being an advocate for breast cancer awareness and for using, that sad moment in your life as an inspiration, right, and to help teach our community about those dangers of cancer and how to be proactive about the situation. So really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. It says, whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a worldwide annual campaign in October involving thousands of organizations to highlight the importance of breast cancer awareness, education, and research. Whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer in American women except for skin cancers. 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. On average, every 2 minutes a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer in the United States. Whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to unite all citizens in our community to prevent breast cancer deaths through increased education and regular screening. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Oscar Ortiz, Mayor of the City of Indio, along with the Indio City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We applaud the efforts of our medical professionals and researchers working to find a cure and urge everyone to increase their knowledge about breast cancer and join us to celebrate successes and memorialize lost battles. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to City Manager reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess the whole community is aware that we have a festival this weekend. So Power Trip is taking place this weekend, as well as a unique activation for AC/DC here downtown, taking over the Club 5 bar for a few days here downtown. And so we invite folks to participate in that, as well as to be aware of the traffic concerns and issues related to the festivals. And we appreciate your patience. Also received some fairly good news today from Mr. Wassel, our Public Works Director. We know that Avenue 44 Bridge washed out with the last rains and hurricane. The question is to repair it again and then shortly thereafter build a bridge may not make sense, meaning we just have to take it out again as the bridge construction ensues. So we've been waiting for this grant to come in to help us build the bridge. It appears we have the authorization now to proceed with the bridge. That will allow us then to not repair the roadway and just to have it wash out again, but to have the long-term solution. There is a construction time frame with the bridge, and we need to get it out to bid and to go through that process, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. But all plans are now that the Avenue 44, as we've known it, will not be rebuilt. and we'll just need to be patient as we build the long-term solution. But it's great news that that grant funding, millions of dollars, to allow us to complete that project. That's my report, Mayor.
Good.
So, City Manager, are we prepared to go out to RFP, or how much time do we need?
I think we're just about ready to go out to bid now, aren't we, Tim?
Yes, we are waiting on a permit from CVWD. We are very, very close to getting that permit, and we must revise the plans to the latest standards again. So we would think between 30, 45 days. But just to qualify something real quick for the understanding of the City Council and the residents, the authorization that we got is for advanced construction. We still have to advance the funds. The money has not been programmed by Caltrans yet. We should know if it is going to be programmed for the current fiscal year, current federal fiscal year. We should know about that in the next week or so. And if not, it will be programmed in the next year. However, we do have to award that contract to put Caltrans under the pressure to give us the funding. If we don't award the contract, we're still at the risk of not getting that money programmed. So we're going to have to do some shuffling around with the budgeting, but literally we have to put a ring on the finger. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. All right, and then we have a report from our Youth Advisory Council, and then after the report, we'll have everybody come down. We have a new team here, so we'll have them come down for a picture. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor Ortiz and City Council members. My name is Bianca Terriquez, and this year I am serving as the Indio Youth Advisory Council Mayor. I am a junior attending Xavier College Prep. To move on to my report, in the last few weeks, the Youth Advisory Council has been able to accomplish and plan many activities. First, we volunteered at a food distribution with Fine Food Bank. We were able to help pack the cars of families in need with groceries at the Mathis Brothers site. We also attended National Night Out yesterday and were able to enjoy the many booths set up around the area. Indio Youth Advisory Council also held a street cleanup to clean up the street that we adopted. Finally, we met with a representative from the Acrisure Arena who helped us in setting up a fundraiser. Yak is currently selling tickets to a Firebirds game on December 16th at 6 p.m. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to an organization to help better the community, which is yet to be chosen. We have much more planned for the upcoming year and are excited to work with the City Council. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. And then did you want to introduce your new members?
Yes. So,
And we'll bring them down for a picture?
if you guys can come up.
You guys want to come down, take a quick picture with them?
Might as well come down.
Sorry.
We'll get a mic.
So first we have our Yak Mayor Pro Tem, Frida Arriaga. Frida is a senior at Shadow Hills High School, and she enjoys running cross country for her school and baking. Next we have the Yak Treasurer, Mia Garcia, who I don't think is present with us today, but she is a senior at Shadow Hills High School, and she loves to listen to music and coding. Next we have Yak Secretary Viviana Terriquez, who is a sophomore at Xavier College Prep. She likes to play sports and read. Our Yak publicist is Silali Natividad, who is a senior at Shadow Hills High School. Silali likes to cook and listen to music. Next we have Nancy Arias, who is a sophomore at Indio High School. Her favorite color is pink, and she likes to spend time with her family. We also have Mia Bella Cantino, who is a senior at Indio High School and loves to spend her free time painting and watching Ratatouille. Next is Isabella Duarte, who is a sophomore attending Indio High School. She likes to travel and play golf. We have Destiny Nunez, a senior at Shadow Hills High School. Some fun facts about Destiny is that she is interested in photography and playing tennis. Following is Talia Randolph, a senior at Shadow Hills High School. Talia enjoys swimming and going to concerts. We also have Tatiana Randolph, who is a senior at Shadow Hills High School. Something fun about Tatiana is that she likes to read and listen to rock. Next is Rachel Sanchez, who is a senior at Shadow Hills High School. She likes to watch sunsets and hang out with her pets. Finally, we have Valeria Sermeno Diaz, who is a senior attending Xavier College Prep. Valeria likes to spend her free time playing volleyball and doing yoga. And last but not least, we have our YAC advisor, Rosalba Campos. Each of our girls are extremely excited to have this opportunity to work with the City of Indio to better our community. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to reports on exterior meetings. Ms. Holmes, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Most of my commissions, all of my commissions were dark in the last 2 weeks. One thing I did have the opportunity to do was attend, along with my fellow council members, the League of California Cities Conference. And this is really a wonderful opportunity. It gives us the opportunity not just to attend conference and meetings and that kind of thing, but to really interact with other council members in other cities to find out what works better, how things work, how to engage our community, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it was a very successful 3 days. Some of the conferences or some of the meetings I attended, one, of course, as I mentioned, how to engage the community. I think that's ever changing, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to find new and different and specific ways to engage our local community, find out what you want, what you need, and how we're doing. Other things, one of the classes that I thought was very interesting to me, cannabis 7 years after legalization. What changed? What does the landscape look like? And how is it being rolled out? Adapting Main Street for a changing retail landscape. You know, retail, as we all know, as you young ladies know, has changed drastically. And so how do we look at different segments of each of our cities and how do we invite or entice retail, and what does that retail look like? Increasing collaboration between local government and utilities, that was a hot topic. And JPA utilization and formation. I mean, those were all, as I said, really great meetings and wonderful, gave us a wonderful opportunity to not just learn, but I think networking is the most valuable opportunity for us to be able to learn. Mayor, that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Holmes. Councilmember Furman?
I just had one board meeting, but I did have some activities and events that I attended. What I did have was a visit Greater Palm Springs meeting, and one of the noticeable items were that the airport will be expanding, so they're starting to study to expand the airport, and so that's big news for our valley. And now that we're back in season, we're getting some more flights coming in, some direct flights from out of the country, Canada, and some of those things. So that just shows the growth in our community. So that's pretty cool stuff. And we also approved the resolution to support the efforts in making the Cahuilla Desert, the Chuckawalla Desert, a national monument. So there's an effort on the side of the valley now that a lot of us are supporting. So the Bureau supported that, so that's good news. Other than that, last night a lot of us attended the National Night Out here in downtown Indio. It was a lot of fun. Hats off to all the organizers, our police department, Chief Washburn and Indio Police Department. Excellent night. It gives us real opportunity for the community to come out and see what our police department does, but not only our police department, all of our partners in the community that attend, our U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, Forest Lawn. IID was there. We had some food trucks there. Ben Catrone was roaming around taking a lot of pictures, and we had a DJ there. So it was a really good night, a family night downtown, along with all the other activities we have going on downtown. And so we did that last night. I also attended the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission graduation. They have quarterly graduations for folks who are passing their programs. So that's always a great event to go to. The mayor usually goes, and I try to make it to all those, because a lot of times you hear us up here talking, and we get a lot of concerns about folks who have substance abuse problems or homelessness problems. Well, these are the folks who are actually getting help and passing these programs. So I want to make sure that they know that their efforts are being appreciated, and we continue to stand by them, not only as a city, but a community. So congratulations to those graduates. And I also attended the League of California Cities up in Sacramento. Like the council member said, it gives us an opportunity to meet and network with other elected officials throughout the state. And it was great. One of the breakout rooms that I attended was a public safety one, of course, but it was supplemented by the flock cameras. Flock cameras were there. As you know, we do have our flock cameras in Indio, our plate reader cameras, and we do have an item tonight. But there were a lot of questions from cities that were there who were interested in getting the flock cameras, and I had a good conversation with the presenters and some of the police chiefs that were there on how it's aiding us here in Indio, but not only Indio, the Coachella Valley. And one of the things I did bring up is we talked about retail. We're talking about retail right now. From a public safety perspective, retail, as we know it, is under attack by a lot of crime. And how do we combat that? Well, we have to be very strategic in law enforcement, how to combat that. And one of those ways are these cameras and tracking these folks. So very good breakout session, and it was really good conference up in Sacramento. And that would complete my report, Mr. Mayor.
Right, thank you, Councilmember Furman. Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only agency that I had a meeting was Sunline Transit Agency, and if any of you have used Sunline, you've noticed that some of the buses have been missing lately. One, we have a shortage of drivers, but secondly, leading the technology in hydrogen cell buses, we also have the top-notch fueling station, and unfortunately, we are the only one that has the fueling station. So 15 of our buses that we usually utilize that are hydrogen cell state-of-the-art aren't able to be filled. So we're missing a few of our drivers and missing a few of our routes. So if you're using Sunline, please look at the schedule. It is up to date, it is live when you go on sunline.org. But we also are renting 10 natural gas buses to be able to hopefully subsidize the routes until that comes forward with the new fueling station. So please, if you are using Sunline, please look at the app to make sure that the buses and what time they're coming, so you're not waiting outside or looking for other opportunities to be able to get a ride to work or wherever you must go to school and other things. And then lastly, I had a lot of individuals have complained recently about our construction on our roads and on Madison Street, and that it's progress. You're going to see a lot more construction, a lot more work. A lot of it comes with IID, a lot of it comes with our own roads that we're repaving. We have a plan to repave every road in the city of Indio, along with very shortly here we'll do Monroe Street Bridge. So there's going to be some inconvenience for a lot of individuals, but it's progress, not only to build our city, but also to make sure that we bring in the economic development that we need. So anything you need, you want to see our plans, go on indio.org and you'll be able to see what we're doing and kind of get an idea of where we are and what streets are going to be paved, what businesses are coming in, and you can get anything you need on indio.org. And if you have any complaints, the city manager's over there, his email's on top. You can complain to him. So that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
I was doing that at the conferences. I'm the mayor, but any complaints go to Mr. Furman right here. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I did not have any committee meetings since our last meeting. I just want to remind everybody that the Riverside County Fair does have a Scare and Pumpkin Festival. And I'm just a little upset that they don't have it outside so everybody can see it and come get pumpkins. But if you go around the side, you will be able to enter the buildings. And they do have what is called a Sand Phantasma, where you enjoy the pumpkin patch and pick up your pumpkins. But they also have what is called a cantina calacas, open to enjoy a beverage and a snack while the kids are decorating their pumpkins.
What kind of beverage?
A refreshing one.
Okay.
And they also have a carnivore haunted house that opens every night at 7 p.m. And this festival will go on until October 31st. So if you're looking for something safe to do on Halloween night, why not take the kids out, decorate a pumpkin, have a cold, refreshing drink, and visit the haunted house. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Last week, I had the opportunity to speak at the Chuckwalla National Monument press conference with Congressman Reese, Secretary Crowfoot from the Natural Resources Agency, and leaders from the Torres Martinez tribe, the Colorado River Indian tribe, and the Fort Yuma Quechan Indian tribe. Spoke about the need to conserve these lands because of the drastic changes we're seeing in our ecosystem and the even more drastic changes that we're expecting in the future. I also spoke about how our desert does a great job at capturing carbon, and Southern California deserts hold 10% of the carbon naturally stored in the state. If we disturb this land, we will release a lot of that carbon and also disrupt this natural process of carbon sequestration. I also had the chance to speak at the CV Rescue Mission graduation. They had about 70 graduates finishing a few different programs there. We want to thank our partners there for their incredible work and congratulate all of their graduates on their accomplishments and wish them the best on their new opportunities. Last night I also attended our National Night Out with our police department, our first responders, and many of our community partners. I wanted to thank them all for coming out to greet our families and spending time with the kids in our community. They always have a lot of fun meeting our first responders and getting to see their equipment up close. So thank you again for all of our partners who came out yesterday. We recently had an executive committee meeting at CVAG where we authorized our executive director to recommend RCTC to fund $6.7 million for the expansion of the Monroe Bridge. We get a lot of questions about our bridges, so I wanted to let people know that our original estimate was $89 million. Fortunately, that has gone up with inflation and material costs to $117 million. This RCTC funding will help fill some of that gap, but we will still need to gather another $21 million in funding to fully fund that project. Last week, I had the chance to read to some of our kids at the Indio Library. I got to talk to some of the staff there as well, and some of our staff here at the city to see what the plans are as we build our new library. We'll be looking for a space where kids can still have story time and still come check out books during the year or so that it takes to build out the new library right here where City Hall is currently located. I also got to travel to the League of California Cities conference in Sacramento with Councilmember Holmes and Councilmember Furman. One of the best things was meeting up with some of the younger electeds from all around the state, some as young as 19, 22, and 25 years old, and seeing how they're dealing with all the issues in their communities and how they're handling, the personal life while balancing work as well as elected office. We had some great debates and shared some good advice and exchanged contacts so we can keep helping each other out as we continue to represent cities from all throughout California. I also was invited to speak at TODEX event in Paris as they celebrated 39 years of working with our immigrant communities. I was joined there by Assemblymember Eloise Reyes, Assemblymember Corey Jackson, as well as officials from Paris and Moreno Valley. A reminder that we'll have the ACDC Dive Bar Takeover this Thursday to Sunday at Club 5 in downtown Indio. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. All 4 days. They're decorating the whole bar with ACDC memorabilia, and they'll have food and drinks outside as well as some really cool art for fans to take pictures and have some fun there with the whole family. Another reminder that there is still financial help for low-income residents at IID as well as at our water department. We also have our new turf removal program. I'll be sharing some more information on that as well. We have plenty of funding in that new program where we're offering $3 per square foot rebate if you include native trees in your new landscaping. And that's all I have for this report. Thanks. Yes, I did. I actually want to move up to our public comments if we can, because I know we have some students here that need to head out. So actually, first, can we excuse our Youth Advisory Council? You guys like to be excused? They already gave a report. Good? Yeah, go on. All right. And then we also have a few, we'll move up the public comments just so we can get through. Is that okay? City Attorney?
As the mayor, you can take things out of order. If the council doesn't like it, they can overrule you.
All right. Sounds good.
As long as Brad Anderson is okay with it, we're good.
So first we have Sean Webb with the Read With Me volunteer programs.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the City of Indio, City Council and staff, my name is Sean Webb. I'm the Director 1 of Literacy Outreach for the Riverside County Office of Education, and my primary duties is to be the Executive Director of Read With Me. Tonight, I'm here to share about some of the remarkable successes that Read With Me has had within the City of Indio. For the 2022 academic school year, 2022-23 school year, if you're not aware, you have just under 3,000 students that are elementary students in the City of Indio. 828 of them were tutored by Read With Me tutors this last year. In total, there was 163 Read With Me tutors in those schools. Those schools being Oliphant, Jackson, Van Buren, Mountain Vista, and then we just added John F. Kennedy in February. 109 of those 163 tutors in those schools all live within the City of Indio. They provided over 1,600 hours of tutoring services, and as well, being a Read With Me school, we provide them scholastic books, and we provide them a book fair, very similar to what you may have gone to as a child, but in our book fairs, the child leaves with them for free. We provided over 8,366 books to those students. In total last year, Read With Me with our 17 schools that we work with here in the Coachella Valley, as well as 2 in Washoe County, Nevada, we gave out 35,000 books. I want to say thank you to the City of Indio for your community grant last year. Know that we will be applying this year. Last year in total, we gave out $95,000 in books. We plan to do the same this year, if not more. It's an exciting, special program. I get to go hands-on and see this happening every day. I get to go visit our schools. It's just absolutely miraculous. And when this opportunity came about, as all you know, I used to work with Desert Sands, and I used to sell the product that we had over at Desert Sands. I said I could sell this product easily all day long. I could sell teaching kids how to read all day long. As you know, with the HARC report, only 1 in 3 families in the last HARC report read to their families, read to their students. So I'm hoping that with the continued partnership with the City of Indio, with Read With Me and RCOE, we can continue to put books in children's hands and let's turn the page in the future. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for your work, Mr. Webb.
You got it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Next, we have Angel Gonzalez regarding DRD amendment.
Hi, good evening, council members, Mr. Mayor. Just want to start by saying my name is Angel Gonzalez. I'm from Indio. I'm here on behalf of AYSO, and I think most of you know. I think Glenn has been to our opening ceremonies. So AYSO is a nonprofit soccer organization for youth, for kids, from 3 years old all the way to 18 years old. Back in January, the city signed a agreement with DRD, Desert Recreational District, to manage the planning of the parks. And I don't know if you guys were aware, but part of the agreement is charge the users for the park usage and the lighting. And I don't know if you guys are aware of the fees, but South Jackson Park, that's our home fields. I was part of the group of people back in the days when we asked the city for some fields for practice and games, and they built South Jackson. That South Jackson Park really doesn't need any planning. I mean, it's being used for us, by us, by the volunteers, the organization, 6-7 days a week. So it is my understanding that this agreement signed back in January was started in 2021, and the city was supposed to contact the users, which they failed because we were never informed. So we could at least, voice our opinion on that agreement. I'm not sure if you guys been to the park, but I keep hearing different meetings that there's a problem in the parks with the homeless. South Jackson, I mean, we're there 6 days a week. We have no issues. As soon as we showed up, anybody's just hanging around, they leave as soon as we show up. So I wanted to ask the city, if I know today you're looking at an amendment to the first agreement. So I wanted to ask the city respectfully if you guys would be open to, you know, table that agreement. Let's look into the fees, and if there's any way that we can be excluded from those fees, you know, and then bring the amendment back. Last time we didn't have the opportunity because we were never notified, so we had no chance to come and you know, ask for this. Sorry, I got them all over the place, but you know, this program is for the kids. It's for the community. I did the math just from because the charge will be from the spring, and from just to March to July is close to $15,000 because it's for field usage, lighting usage, and my understanding, reading the agreement, the city still maintains the parks, the maintenance. It still pays for the electricity. So my question is, what is those fees for to DRD? I asked for a breakdown, never got one. So I think the only charge, only cost to them is, you know, process one application once a year. So that is, you know, if we could respectfully request that, you know, if we could do that amendment, if we can table that amendment and then bring it back, and hopefully you guys can exclude us from those fees.
Have you spoken to the board over there at Desert?
I went to the meeting. I spoke. It didn't seem to me like they were aware of the fees either, or the cost to them. We were scheduled to sit down and have a meeting, but unfortunately it got canceled, so it got rescheduled for next week.
Okay.
But it seems like, you know, I talked to different people and just keep getting the runaround, and so I wanted to come in and approach you guys directly. Because I know today is, you guys will probably approve that amendment, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And we have one more speaker, which is Charles Allen Holloway. Good.
I respectfully ask the city council or anybody sitting here to help my family and me get answers from Indio PD.
Mr. Holloway, you need to speak to the microphone so they can capture you. Yeah. Yes.
I have generational ties to Indio. Both sets of my grandparents lived in Indio. Many of my loved ones have died here. I have family in every district. I went to Catholic school and high school in Indio. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach and came back. I met my wife in Indio. One of my daughters was born at JFK, and one of my sons died at JFK. I have 3 living kids, and my son plays baseball at Davis Field. I briefly spoke with Mr. Ortiz on my son's opening day. I follow Christ in Indio. I volunteer, live, and work in Indio. I shop Indio first. I am no outsider. I live in Mr. Furman's district here. I saw you give a compelling speech at my law school down the street. Ms. Ramos-Smith, Ms. Holmes, and Mr. Miller, I admire your work. I have been reading about you 3 for years. 14 years ago, I got hired at Indio PD. I was excited to help my neighbors. But then I got accused of excessive force for arresting a gang member. Before my trial started, the city of Indio paid out the suspects some money. Then I beat the case not guilty, and the city of Indio paid me a small amount of money. I have been blessed, and I passed the California Bar State exam. I plan on staying in Indio. My roots are here. I do not have a bar license yet because I am waiting on Indio PD to provide my personnel file, or at least a formal answer. The City of Indio's mission statement spells out that the city must provide outstanding services to enhance the residents' quality of life. I am a longtime resident. 5 months ago, I asked the PD to provide me or the state bar with a copy of my personnel file. I am still waiting for it. I have spoken with various employees 10 to 15 times. I have documentation. I have given back to the city of Indio my entire life. Again, I respectfully ask the city council to help my family and me get answers from Indio PD on why I have not been given my personnel file or a formal answer. It's been 5 months.
Thank you, Mr. Holloway. We'll have PD reach out.
So yes, Mayor, I just wanted to briefly respond so that the council is aware. The request for Mr. Holloway to have access to his personnel file was referred by Police Department to the City Attorney's Office. We'll be working with the City Manager's Office on closing the loop on that if it hasn't been done so already.
Thank you for the help.
What did you say at the end?
Closing the loop, getting it to them.
Closing the loop.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our consent calendar. If anybody wish to pull any items.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second from Councilmember Furman. We'll go ahead and vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
And I just wanted to give a comment on
Go ahead.
1013. I have no idea how those stones got out there. They weren't here when I got here, but I know the center one was that man that passed away.
Patrick Blythe.
Patrick Blythe. But the other two, I don't know where they came from.
Okay. Well, they're going to be out of here. So. We'll move on to administrative items. 11.1, approve the amended and restated agreement with Desert Recreation District to provide park supervision and custodial services for 5 years at a current year cost of $379,000.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. This is really a very, very exciting item for me. I've been with the city for a little over 8 years, and the parks have been always a big concern for the city and for me personally. And we were able to come up with hopefully a very good solution that we are proposing. It's a partnership between the City of Indio and the DRD. It's an expansion of the current partnership that we have. Currently, the DRD manages our activities and so on and so forth. But this particular action tonight, it will expand that to actually have more coverage for the Ambassador Program. And the Ambassador Program is a name that we came up with. The City Council, of course, you're more than welcome to give us any suggestions. We'll be happy to name it anything you would like us to name it. And in a moment here, I'm going to invite Mr. Kalman to come and speak about this proposed program. But this program has been proven very effective in the city of Palm Desert. They've managed their parks for many, many years, probably 20 years, Mr. Kalman? Close. 25 years. And you go to the parks in the city of Palm Desert, you enjoy the park, you don't have any issues. City of La Quinta the same way. But when it comes to the city of Indio, there's always been a problem with our parks. So we're hoping that this partnership will resolve the issue. And in a nutshell, the partnership is City of Indio, we keep it clean and green. Mr. Kalman keeps it safe and active. So with that, if you allow me to invite Mr. Kalman here to talk about the program a little more. Kevin?
Thank you. Mayor Ortiz, members of the City Council, city staff, thank you for having me here today. As Mr. Wassel said, my name is Kevin Kalman. I'm the General Manager for Desert Recreation District. The district and the city staffs have been working for the last several months to expand the partnership that we currently have with the city, to provide a more consistent presence in the city parks. And the goal of this collaboration is to enhance the safety, sustainability, and recreational experiences within the city's parks and open spaces. The city has 13 beautiful parks and open spaces that attract visitors seeking outdoor recreational opportunities. And additionally, the city has recently made significant and continues to make significant investments in its parks and beautifying them, changing the amenities to more current amenities. And unfortunately, there still continues to be a segment of the park users that use the parks for activities that reduce the overall sense of safety and for the public. And this has created a growing need for effective management, safety, and oversight of those parks. DRD is uniquely qualified to assist the city with this and to enhance the user experience and protect those recent investments in the park improvements. DRD, as Mr. Wassel had said, has successfully performed these services for over 25 years for the city of Palm Desert. Doesn't mean that there's no problems, but there are few, very few. By leveraging our expertise and in managing and maintaining recreation facilities and its commitment to the community engagement, we aim to create a well-rounded, safe, and enjoyable environment for your park users. We have three main objectives to achieve here. The first is safety and security. We intend to deploy park attendants to ensure the safety of park visitors, monitor the activities that are taking place in the parks, and aid during emergencies. We plan to engage the community to foster positive interactions between our staff, city staff, Indio Police Department, and the community through organizing recreational programs, activities, and events, and informing park users of what is and is not allowable in the parks. And then also providing clean and inviting spaces. We'll be assisting the city's Public Works Department by doing all of the custodial work, maintaining the restrooms, stocking and opening and closing and making sure they're open during park hours and locked during non-park hours, and making sure that they are all safe, well kept, and clean for the visitors. So in a nutshell, DRD's role will be to monitor the parks, assist the visitors in the parks, provide emergency response. So often our eyes are the first ones to see and recognize problems in the parks, and then we will notify the appropriate city department of what that is. Say it's like a broken slide or something like that. Our team will go ahead and coordinate cording off that space so that the park remains safe and open to the public, but at the same time the users are aware that there's an issue there, and then notify the appropriate Public Works Department to come and make the repairs. Also things like tree limbs that have broken off in parks, those kinds of things. And as I mentioned before, we will have basically a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. presence in the Indio parks. We're going to be hiring 5 full-time park attendants, as well as 4 additional half-time park attendants to fill gaps during the scheduled shifts. And they will monitor all 13 of your current parks, as well as the new park that will be developed here shortly up in the Triangle area. The city's role, the city is working on and will be adopting new city ordinance for park users that will aid both our staff in educating the park users, as well as PD in enforcing any kind of activity that does not belong in the parks, as well as posting those rules and regulations for park users to see. City and IPD will respond promptly to our calls for service. We're not asking our people to. They will engage with the park users and they will educate them, but we're not asking them to cite or forcibly remove any park users. That will still remain the responsibility of code enforcement or the police department. And then, of course, the city will help fund this program. We want to make sure that our efforts are effective and that your money is well spent. And we intend to do that through periodic surveys of the park users to make sure that they are satisfied, that they do feel safe, that they do feel like this is an inviting environment to take your kids to play soccer, to do whatever you're doing in the parks, as long as it's within the ordinance. We also will be tracking the incident reports that we'll be submitting to the city and to the police department, depending on what the incident is, as well as measuring the attendance at in the parks to show that they are growing in their use and being utilized the way we intend them to be utilized. As I mentioned, we'll have 7 full-time equivalents. That's made of 5 full-time and 4 part-time. And that's about 14,560 hours of coverage per year. The estimated cost, now we're charging based on time and materials basis. So if we're only charging for what we've done, what we've spent. So for this year, it's been prorated with the start date of November 1st, and the first 2 weeks will be training. IPD has already offered to help orient our new staff to some of the existing issues that are in the parks that they are dealing with. Give some tools for their tool belt for how to deal with certain potential individuals that they have experience with, those kinds of things. And then, like I said, it'll be all 13, soon to be 14 parks. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Any questions? Good.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin, for your report on this. So when you say you have 7 equivalent full-time employees and it's till 11 o'clock at night, how many will be on at one time? So when you go to lock up, obviously we have different facilities in different parts of the city. How will you schedule them?
So there will always be at least 2 on at any given time. Certainly during peak hours or events, that may fluctuate up. We have basically 2 different kinds of park attendants. We have our park attendant ones, which are really there to engage with the public and to observe what's happening in the parks and report any issues. And then we have our park attendants 2s, which are doing the opening, closing, and custodial work in the restrooms, cleaning pavilions, those kinds of things, preparing them for park users that have reserved for a special event, a quinceañera or a birthday party or whatever it may be. And so, yeah, at least 2 at all times. We're starting out a little higher than that, as this is a new introduction of the program, and we want to make sure that none of our folks are traveling alone until we've established a rapport with those users that are not necessarily using them the way the parks have been intended to be used.
Okay, and then Tim, are we also doing the trail, the Badland Trail? Is that part of ours where we're doing it? Because we've gotten quite a few reports from the golf course next door, because we go across their property, that people are going through that gate at all times of the day and doing damage to their golf course. Is that something we're going to add to this, or is it already part of it?
It is not part of it, but we'll definitely look into it.
Yeah, you might want to get with Terralago, Randall there, because he just called me today about the damage to the greens again from people going in there with their bikes and dirt bikes and tearing up their greens. So, you know, if we're going to be responsible for it, and I know we're going to put some more money into it, we need to make sure that's a part of it too. So, and then last, Mr. Kelman, so when you're going through and you're bringing in your people, obviously you've heard from these gentlemen here on the parks and the fees and that. Have we set aside opportunities for people that can't afford to be able to pay the fees to do it? Do we have some kind of system in place? I don't like pick one group over, I'm not saying AYSO over anybody else, but do we have a program for people that be able to use the park but maybe not have to pay part way for it?
Yeah, we do have a financial assistance program through our foundation. I've not had a chance to meet with with Angel yet. We were scheduled to do that earlier today, but my schedule didn't allow. So I believe we have it scheduled for next week. He did attend our board meeting, our last meeting, and speak much the same comments that you heard tonight. So we fully intend to sit down and go through the process with AYSO and make sure that they understand what the fees are, make sure that we're calculating them accurately, and if there is a desire to have those fees waived, they can make that request also to the board of directors, and that will be up to them to make that determination. But we haven't had that conversation. He hasn't been educated on that process yet. So.
Yeah, because he might be the first, but he's not going to be the last. Unfortunately, we have not had a program in our parks to be able to run them. As people come through, you're going to have more and more groups come towards it. And we want our youth in our parks. We want our families in our park. One of the reasons we're investing all this money in them. So we got to figure out a happy medium. If you need to come back to the city and we need to come up with a plan, that's something that I guess city council could discuss. But we really do want to make sure that we don't price anybody out of our parks. We actually want them to be used more and hopefully build more to give you business and give our residents a place to go out and have some outdoor activities. So appreciate it.
And Angel's 100% correct that as the activity comes in, the undesirable elements that are doing things that are not what we want to see in our parks, they tend to move out, and we've seen that in Miles Park with football starting up. Mm-hmm. It's really kind of changed the dynamic over there in a very, very short period of time.
I've played in a lot of your parks that you maintain. Obviously, I played pickleball, so I played at Freedom, I played at Fritz, I played at all of them. And you're very true, because the people that constantly come in, I do never see very many people in those parks other than actual participants that are either in the skate park, in the aquatics, or in the playing soccer, playing pickleball. So we're hoping we have that same results. Thank you.
For sure.
I wanted to touch on the AYSO issue real quick, because I think there was a contract in Cathedral City as well, right, with AYSO, where they were actually grandfathered in.
Yeah, my understanding with what is happening in Cathedral City is that the city actually turned I believe it's actually the school property, but the city improved it and turned that over to AYSO, and AYSO does all of the maintenance, all of the work on the particular field that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think what I'm having trouble understanding is because I know we're paying for the organization of the activities, right? But this is an organization that's already in motion, right? They're already organized. Yeah. They have their own team that organizes all their kids, all the teams. So I do think that.
And we can relook at it. So, for example, in Palm Desert, we collect the fees on the city's behalf, and the city pays the district for its time for coordinating all of the different reservations and making sure that it's not just AYSO that's on those fields for 6-7 days a week, but that all of the groups, the smaller groups that don't have the 900, 1,100 kids in the program, they also have an opportunity to utilize the space. So unfortunately, the transition did not go as planned. You know, we signed this agreement back in January. There was supposed to be conversations that happened with all of the user groups between, and we pushed the start date all the way back to July based on the need for the city to reach out to these groups, and that unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, I wasn't part of those conversations or lack of conversations, but now we're going to have to make up for lost time.
Just a couple of things. Thank you, Mayor and Councilmember Miller, for bringing that up. I mean, we want to move our parks into the next century. You and I have been talking about that for many, many years, and that opportunity has come. I'm so happy and very excited about it. But as all things in Indio, in this, the oldest city in the community, there are things and groups and people that have been here for such a long time that I think we all like to make sure that at some level they're that we embrace them, for lack of a better word. So I agree with Councilmember Miller as well, you know, to the extent that we can come back to the city. I mean, we can't, I'm concerned making that statement on such a broad level, but let's see if we can figure out what we can do and how we can help the groups that have been there and established for a while.
Sure.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Coleman, for your presentation, and welcome to this partnership. This is actually exciting. You know, if you do go to some of the other cities, their parks are active, they're nice, and they're safe. And that's something we long for in Indio for a lot of years. And when we don't activate our parks, things tend to happen. We start to get that element, and that's something I want to talk about. You know, the gentleman made a comment that, you know, when they show up, some of those folks leave. And that's true. You know, I've witnessed it. My daughter's at Miles Park right now. But those are the folks we actually want to get help. We don't want them living in our parks. We don't want them creating encampments. We want to get them help. So I just hope as we implement this that we're also working with our nonprofits and our faith-based communities to actually bring them in as well and say, you know, this is an opportunity for you to also help these folks to get them the help that they need. One question I have, how do some of the folks and organizations contact? Is it online? Is it a way that they sign up to use certain parks? You know, prior years we just we say call Jim, you know. So now it's going to be different. And you know, I just want to echo everything everybody said. You know, our fee schedule, we want to keep it affordable. We want to make sure we keep all those kids active in our community, and I'm pretty sure DRD is going to do that. You know, I'm a product of DRD, so I understand it. So I'm just excited that we're doing this, and if you could just speak to how they can sign up to use the park.
Sure. So there's several ways you can do it. We have the Desert Recreation District app for your phone. We also, on our website, which is myrecreationdistrict.com, you can go to facility rentals, and all of the amenities here in Indio that we are reserving are there, as well as going into one of our many facilities. Doesn't have to necessarily be the Indio Community Center. So if you work in Palm Desert and it's convenient for you to go over to our Palm Desert Community Center, you can do it there, or Coachella, or wherever our staff are located. They're all equipped. All of our systems are integrated, so it's all one system. And unless, I suppose, if two people at the exact same time were to get it, I don't know if they would both get it or if they would both get rejected. But other than that, and the likelihood of that happening is very slim. It's a fairly easy process. We depending on the type of use, if it's a private family party kind of thing, it's very simple. There is a security deposit to make sure that if there's any damage that is done during the use of the facility, that there's a mechanism for the city to be able to repay themselves for any damage that occurs, as well as nominal fee just for the reservation processing, like you would see pretty much any organization. I think the city of Indio is probably the last to be giving away all of the use of its facilities for without recouping any costs on it. I think it was about a decade ago. The rest of the cities in the district all kind of coordinated and started charging fees to help recoup for relamping and for the administration process and coordinating all the various different groups that want to use the spaces.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Coleman, for working with us. I know this has been years in the working, and thank you, Mr. Wassel, for bringing it forward. I want to redirect the conversation because tonight's item is for the amendment for the supervisors, which is the Park Ambassador Program.
Correct.
And that's all we're discussing and making a decision on tonight. So although there are questions about fees, that's a different conversation. I just wanted to make sure that you knew so that you can inform those individuals that are struggling with the fee structure that we too have a community grant program. And it's every quarter. They can apply up to, I don't know, $2,500. So if there's some need for financial assistance, they can also come to us in addition to your foundation. Yep. I just want to make sure you knew that. But if there's no more conversation on the program that we're considering tonight, I'll make a motion.
I just wanted to share that we are really excited about the program, and having those 7 new people out there keeping an eyes on the park. We know that, the more eyes we have on the parks, the safer it's going to be, and the more communication we have between what's going on in the parks and our staff here, we're going to be able to be much more efficient and organized throughout this process. So we really do appreciate this partnership, and we look forward to seeing all the good things it'll bring, and as we're already seeing, right, all the good things it's bringing to our community. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the amended and restated agreement number 1 with Desert Recreation District to provide park supervision and custodial services for 5 years at a current year cost of $379,501. Mr. Wassel, did you need to say something?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem
Let's see
and
if
a
he has to
second.
add something.
Anything, Mr. Wassel?
Actually, yeah, we have some good news about the trail. Kevin and I just talked about it, and would like to update you.
So we have a joint powers agreement with the Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy, and we actually help maintain the trailhead there. So we're already working on the Badlands Trail, at least the parking area, but we can certainly, I can raise that at our next JPA meeting and make sure that we're providing whatever additional coverage there that needs to happen to if it's changing the access point to where you can't get a dirt bike or whatever is going through there. And unfortunately, it's open desert once you cross over the golf course, and stopping it is almost impossible. But we can certainly do better posting at the trailhead and hopefully get a little bit more respect for the golf course.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Councilmember Miller. Go ahead and vote. And motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to 11.2. We have 1-year extension request by California REO Acquisition Partners and LP of the Administrative Design Review Approval. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Kevin Snyder, Director of Community Development. As the Mayor noted, this is a 1-year extension request for a previous approval that was granted several years ago by the city. And just to orient you, the property in question, if you can see on the screen, is the 4 properties with the blue dots. I want to take a moment and thank the Mayor Pro Tem. She correctly pointed out that I inadvertently left the location map out of the packet, and so thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for pointing that out, so I was able to put that in the packet so the council and the community could see that. This project was granted approval in 2017. It was for a 94-bed assisted living facility along with a 39-bed dementia facility. So it was proposed to be developed on 6.1 acres. To locate you, this is along Avenue 48 west of the intersection of Monroe and Avenue 48 a little bit past the Rite Aid, if that helps. And so the project has received several extensions over the year. One was done at the administrative level by the Development Services Director at that time. One was done by the Planning Commission. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And the City Council wisely and boldly went through a process of granting a 3-year extension to all previously issued approvals for conditional use permits and design reviews. That 3-year period expires on December 31st, 2023. So I have been working with the applicant over the last year or so. They are continuing to look at options for their property. They are not entirely certain that the original concept for the development of the property still works in today's market conditions through the COVID-19 pandemic. A assisted living facility and dementia facility, those became less supported, particularly in terms of market interest and also financing interest. So they've been looking at whether or not they can proceed forward with that project. They've also been looking at potential different uses of the property. So the applicant did come forward and ask in August for a 1-year extension request so they can narrow down their focus and proceed forward. I should also note that they did several years ago proceed forward with plans and put them through our plan review process. They never pulled the building permit, but they have actively been working on the property, trying to figure out the best use. And again, the COVID-19 pandemic did upend some of their original thoughts. So this evening, the council is being asked to take ordinance action. And the reason you're being asked to take ordinance action is because you took ordinance action 3 years ago to extend the time frame for the expiration of certain land use entitlements. So after consulting with our city attorney, it's appropriate that the council, if you're so inclined, take ordinance action this evening to extend the one-year request. So you would, typical with the ordinance readings, so it's a first reading this evening and then a second reading at the next city council meeting, and then the extension would be to December 31st, 2024. And during that time, I'm very hopeful that the applicant will come up with their final development proposal and we can proceed forward with them. I do believe the applicant is available to answer any questions the council might have, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions the council might have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Over here.
Ms. Ramos?
Mr. Snyder, a design review approval is not really a binding approval. I mean, it's not like a CUP, it's not like, I mean, design review, it's not a quasi-legislative action. So I don't understand why they would want to extend, especially since our design standards have changed since 2017. I'm hesitant to extend it because I don't want something from 2017 to continue to be in play. So why is it that they would seek a design review extension? Did they give a deposit? What is it they're trying to secure?
That's actually, thank you, Mayor Protem, that's a great question. So as a land use entitlement, under the rules both in effect previously and now, the design review is good for a period of 2 years. And that's actually the current program as well for the city. After which, if they don't proceed forward with applying for and receiving a building permit, then the design review approval will expire. It is, to use kind of a planning term, a quasi-judicial action. It is legally binding on the applicant. It comes with conditions of approval. If the applicant decides to proceed forward with the original development concept, then they would like to utilize the approval that was granted to them at that time. If they go with a different development concept, then depending on what they plan to do, they may have to come back and work through under our new regulations. So there is a legal connotation to this that does require some sort of extension by the city if they want to keep that previous approval active. And again, that's the purview of the council.
So in 2017, who gave the approval? Does your Statutory Department or Planning Commission?
So in 2017, it was actually done at the administrative level as administrative design review.
Right.
But the extension of that was, first year extension was done by the Development Services Director at that time. Second year extension per city code was done by the Planning Commission. And then again, as I mentioned, because of the ordinance action.
And I understand Stephen's position, our city attorneys, I can see why he would ask us to consider this, but I'm still going back to 2017, an administrative design review approval is not a quasi-judicial decision that we would ever get involved in. And I'm really reluctant to allow a 2017 design standard to move forward, especially since we just went through the whole general plan revamp and came up with new sustainability, new, everything. 2017 does not fit in 2024. I'm sorry, it's too late. The balloon has burst, and they had their time prior to COVID and after COVID, and at this point I think they need to work with our new standards.
And Mayor Pro Tem, that's exactly why it was brought forward as an ordinance for the City Council's consideration.
So I hope that my colleagues take that to heart. I mean, remember 2017 and the ugly commercials and the ugly buildings?
Any other comments?
Well, I was, when I was reading this, I was thinking about this, and I thought, gosh, 5 years and we're going to extend it again? It just doesn't seem plausible to me 5 years later. So I concur with Council, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem. I concur with her comments. It's been 5 years.
If I could, Kevin, let me ask your opinion. What is your thought on it? I know obviously we vote, but is this something that you think that is beneficial to the city to extend this thing for them to get a chance to come back and review it and bring it forward? Or do you think it would be prudent to come back and look at them to look at fresh standards? Or does this give you time to work with the applicant?
Councilmember, I have been working with the applicant. I think they're continuing to determine what the best, most viable option. I think they would share with you some of the challenges they've had in looking at different options for the site. I don't believe it's appropriate for me to give
Well,
you
I
my
understand, but I'm saying,
opinion.
is it able, are you able to work with it? Does it give you time to work to come up with a project that's feasible?
Certainly, having additional time to engage in conversations and fact-finding with them about potential solutions and how, possible new uses of the property, that might be valuable for the applicant as well as staff. But at the end of the day, as the city attorney pointed out, this is the purview of the city council, and whether or not you believe this is the most appropriate action, or if you believe that it's not. And I will leave that to the discretion of the
And
council.
Councilmember Miller, I need to play the devil's advocate with you. If this applicant came to me and say, you know what, in a year, we're going to move forward because we have a plan, we're going to change things up a bit, but they're still saying, we don't know the highest and best use, we don't know what we're going to do with the site. This is an REO, you know what an REO is. I just don't see this really coming to fruition in the next year, and I'd rather not allow it. We've made this mistake before, and I don't want to make it again.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to jump in. I think in part answer to the question, you might want to think to yourself, is this the type of development that was approved that you would like to see on that site? If you approve an extension, it's more likely to happen instead of putting them back to zero and to start all over again on the cost. If you don't approve it, it's less likely this property will develop in any near term. So the most likely way for it to develop, particularly the way it was originally approved, is to grant the extension. But if you don't like what was there and you want them to start over and bring something back, it's just less likely to develop in the near term. It's just going to take more time.
City Manager, that's the exact identical verbatim argument that our last city manager gave us about the project on 49 in Monroe. And what did that gentleman turn around and do? Put it on the market because he got an extension for an exorbitant amount of money, so nobody will ever develop it. And I don't want to put these tools into somebody that doesn't have plans to move forward. If they said they had plans to move forward with this project in next year, hey, yeah, let's go for it. I support you. You've seen me do it before. You've seen me give 2 years extensions. There's no plan here.
Well, the applicant's available, perhaps answer some of those questions.
Go ahead, give them time.
Well, Mr. Furman had questions.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because Kevin, you mentioned that they wanted to come back with a different idea or vision than they had in 2017, because what's in question is the regulations from 2017, right? So I was saying, well, let's hear from the applicant and see what their plan is before we move forward, because I think that would be feasible right now.
Go ahead.
So I believe the applicant is available virtually.
They're on the screen.
Can they go on our screen?
If, Matt, you can put them on the council member's screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, members of the City Council of the City of Indio. We are grateful here to let you know that we have been working on this project very diligently since we have it, and it's been actually granted design review approval by a different developer, and we bought it from him. And throughout the years, and with COVID and with the issues that we had with the property itself and the financing it, we decided that we are going to develop this property as an apartment building. And I think myself and Mr. Snyder and our staff here talked to Mr. Snyder several times. We had our architect design on the 6 acres, 160 unit family apartment there. And it's not affordable, it's a market rate apartment. And in the 2 acres, we designed 16 unit, which is based on the zoning of the property. So we are doing everything we can in our power to do it. And we have already the plans, we submitted already to Mr. Kevin Snyder, and we are just really, we spend a lot of money on the property, on financing it and carrying the property for the past 5 years, and also $1 million of construction document that we submit to the city, and we paid the fees for a plan check, and we did not issue the permit till today. we're really requesting your kindness here to grant us this extension, because it will be devastating to us to go to from a almost 176 unit apartment to a 64 unit apartment based on the new zoning that the property got zoned for. So we're requesting your kindness to help us out here. And Mr. Snyder and the staff and the city manager, all of them have been working very diligently with us. And Mr. Snyder can tell you how many how many plans we submitted to him. And finally, he looked at the last plan we have, and it was very reasonable and agreeable to review that with the city and get some sort of approval on it to move forward with it. So we already ordered the appraisal on the property, and appraisal should be available to us by tomorrow or day after tomorrow for 160 unit apartment and 16 unit on the 2 acres. And we already have our lender on the property is the one who ordered the appraisal, and after that we'll be going forward with it. So I like to I understand the delay, but the delay is out of our hand totally, and we'll request your kindness here to request our demand to get an extension so we can keep the property based on the zoning we have on the 6 acres. And Mr. Snyder made it very clear, the 2 acres has to be based on the new general plan amendment for this property, which is a 4 to 8 unit per acre. And I obliged that. And the new plan actually have that plan that we sent to him already, and he have it in his possession, So
Mr. Snyder, he just said he wants to.
I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We spend a lot of money on the property. We spend over $1 million on architecture, engineering, and complete plan check for the property. And we've been carrying this property for the past 5 years. So we'd like your consideration for that.
Mr. Snyder, he just says he wants to keep the change of zone with this approval. How does he think that's going to happen?
So just a couple of clarifications. So first of all, I have been working with Mr. Hanna and his team. They have looked at conceptual ideas for the development of housing on the property. They've looked at the potential for affordable housing, which is by right, so they would be able to proceed with by right housing. And they're looking at options. So I just want to, Mr. Hanna did note that they've submitted several design concepts that I have reviewed with them. We have not formally signed off on any plans. So there would be the opportunity to proceed under the previous project approval for by right with the same number of units with an administrative variance under my authority. If it exceeds, so Mr. Hannon referenced 176 units, that would be in excess of what the previous approval allowed. So what we're trying to do is provide an avenue where there could be affordable or attainable housing opportunity on the property that would proceed at the same level of density that was previously permitted for there. And Mr. Hanna referred to 2 acres. That was not part of the original approval, so that would have to be considered separately again because it was not considered under the previous approval. Hopefully that makes sense.
Why does he think he's protecting his change of zone with this approval?
With this,
That's what he
with
said.
the extension?
He thinks this extension is going to protect his change of zone. It has nothing to do with it.
Well, and there is so the prior approval, if the council grants the extension this evening, it stands, that prior approval, and the density allowances with that stands. If you as council decide not to grant it this evening, then he or any other developer of the property would have to go under the updated zoning regulations for the property, which would be a lower density count.
Okay, I didn't know we went lower on anything, but in any case, he could get that administratively through you. He doesn't need to come to us.
In order for him to go beyond December 31st, 2023,
No, separate from this.
oh yeah,
If
okay,
he comes in
yes,
tomorrow,
Mayor Pro Tem.
he doesn't need to bother us, goes to you, you give him a variance, new project, end of story. That's why I don't understand this.
Right, and you are absolutely correct, Mayor Pro Tem. I think he is looking for a additional time in order to complete financing, update plans, submit them, and if he doesn't get that done by December 31st, 2023, then the council's previous authorization of that 3-year extension expires. And I'm not speaking for Mr. Hanna, but based on comments he's made to me, he feels like he will be he will not be able to get everything done by December 31st, 2023, which is why this is coming before council.
Gotcha. Any other questions, comments? I think, you know, as we mentioned, if it's in progress, you know, they're submitting the plans, they're moving forward, and it's going to bring us the housing units faster than not approving this, I'm okay with moving forward with it at this point. But open to any other comments?
Is there any, there's no public it's not a public hearing, so, I mean, it's time for discussion and then the motion.
So essentially, we're giving him an extra year to put all these pieces together so that he builds apartments, affordable or, it's the bottom line, affordable or attainable.
market rate.
or-
It might be
or
market rate.
or whatever.
That's a different plan.
Well, that's my question. It is a different plan, but it seems like it's all being rolled into this.
But it's able to be approved administratively if we provide the extension,
No,
right?
he can come in tomorrow and get it administrative.
Next year.
No, tomorrow.
No, I'm saying, but if he needs until next year, then he has until next year if we
No, but he can
approve
come
the extension.
tomorrow.
I know that, but he's not ready tomorrow.
No, I know. He doesn't need this, is what I'm trying to tell you.
He needs it if he's done in January.
No, he doesn't need it, because he can come anytime to
If it's
Kevin
administrative,
and get an
right.
administrative approval.
If it's administratively approved, you don't need the extension, is
You
what
don't
she's
need the
saying.
extension.
City attorney?
I don't want to hold the 2017 standard.
Yeah, I think if Mr. Snyder can just maybe explain it again in detail. It appears the extension is needed. And I'll just go back to my previous comment before ceding to my friend here. If you want it developed, an extension will be the most expedited way to do it. If you're not that anxious to have it developed, it will take longer if you don't grant the extension, because if he doesn't get the financing and everything by the end of the year, it's done. But Kevin, maybe go through step 1 to 5.
First of all the council members are correct, so you all get a plus. But the delineating factor here is that when the council took the action back on November 2020 to extend, you covered all design review approvals and all conditional uses, whether they were administrative or planning commission level. So it was all packaged in. So sitting here today, the mayor pro tem is correct. If they walked in tomorrow and finalized everything at my level authorized by the code, then they would have no need to be before you this evening. Mayor is also correct that if they don't get everything wrapped up by December 31st, 2023, then the clock turns to January 1, and any authorities that they had or any allowances they had disappear. So they're simply asking the council to give us more time. Councilmember Miller asked me a question, and I didn't really like to give an answer. I will backtrack to a second to say that I do believe Mr. Hanna and his team. I will tell you I've had at least 8 meetings with them to discuss the very options to hone in on this. So I do think they are actively working to get the project developed. As the city manager pointed out, there is always the option that it may not get developed in the future, either by Mr. Hanna or others, for a period of time. So it's simply, I think this 1-year extension is not an unreasonable request. And then I think at the end of that, if you again as council are the only ones that can grant that extension, and you may not be inclined to.
Again, you did not capture what I said.
I apologize.
So is he obligated to hold on to this design review until December 31st, 2023? Or can he relinquish or give up that approval, just like, and come in off the street, just like any other person, and ask Mr. Snyder for a design review approval with the variance?
So the short answer is no, because if he relinquishes the rights he's been given to develop under that previous approval, he would then go under the the current zoning, which is lower density.
Right.
And he would, because he's producing more than a certain number of units, say for example 64 units, he would have to go through the planning commission process. So in essence, he would start over. He's looking for the opportunity not to start over and to work to a conclusion. So you are correct, Mayor Pro Tem, that he could come in tomorrow and do that, or anyone could on this property. But in this particular instance, if he wants to kind of stay on the path he started on for the last several years, then that's his request. He wants to stay on the path.
So what are you going to do about the 2017 design standards that were approved?
So we're working, we're actually, and Mr. Hanna's team have been very gracious. They've been working with us to actually bring forward several of the new design standards in our codes voluntarily. So we've been looking at them both with the modern contemporary design features, with landscaping, with parking. So Mr. Hanna and his team have been looking at that. So they have a very qualified architect who's become very adept at understanding our new codes. So they've been voluntarily working with us to kind of bring forward the project to address the council's concerns from 2017 standards to 2023 standards.
Just one quick one.
Go ahead.
Kevin, so with this allows him to change the actual design to apartment complex by giving him this approval. Does it go back to the planning commission? Or is this something that you would administratively do after that because it's within your guidelines? Because he's going from like, with you had the 39, like 103 rooms to 170 something. Is that something you could do, or does it go back to the planning commission for them to look at it?
It actually fits within my authority that the council has previously granted through the adoption of the codes.
Okay. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand. And initially, I think some of the concerns that we all had is we don't want another piece of property just sitting there. It goes on. I mean, there's across from Indian Palms. We can all name several. But someone that's had 8 meetings with you bears, that's something to consider. I certainly want this to be developed sooner rather than later. That was a whole part of my thought processes early on is that I don't want it sitting there for another 10 years like we have weed-filled properties in some locations in that situation. So I think having this conversation and listening to everyone, I'm ready to make a motion if no one else is.
I don't know, the lights are on everywhere.
I'll make a motion to approve a 1-year extension of the administrative design review, ADR 1610-405 for Regency Palms, Indio.
Oh, second. Right, we got a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second from Councilmember Miller. Let's go ahead and vote. Motion passes 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to also tell the council
Thank
I've
you.
made it a personal mission
Thank you so much.
to get that. Oops, sorry.
Bye-bye.
Oh, congratulations, sir.
I've made
Thank
it a
you.
personal mission to get that property across.
Look forward to get it built soon. So we just wish us our good luck here. With the high interest rate and high construction costs, is making every project difficult everywhere. So I appreciate your opportunity here to give us that you're giving us here. Thank you.
Right, we look forward to seeing the project, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just finish very quickly. I've made it a personal mission, that property that's been referenced across from Indian Palms, I am actually marketing that to prospective developers now.
You can't because he wants $16 million.
Well,
We gave him an extension.
And I appreciate that. I still believe that's an incredibly valuable site for,
Not for $16 million.
and that is a very valuable point, but we
Thank you.
we will
Thank
continue
you,
to work.
Kevin.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, we have 11.3, new location for Desert Tortoise Sculpture Project. And we have Ms. Leila Nambar.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. As you mentioned, this project before you is new location for the Desert Tortoise Sculpture. By the way, I'm Leila Nambar, your public arts analyst. As you recall, this project, which is the Desert Tortoise, is 8 by 20 by 8, was approved by the City Council on March 1st for Indio sports park, but recently Council expressed interest in installing the artwork in a new location. So this is the design of the tortoise, and it will be installed, tiles will be installed on top of it. And on September 12th, the Public Arts Commission reviewed 4 additional locations and also included the Jackson Park. They chose the Jackson Park and they made a recommendation to the council for approving this new location for this sculpture. The sculpture is being fabricated by the artist. The tiles are being handmade and glazed by the artist. And then they applied for a permit, and we are waiting for just finalizing the new location and continuing the process on the installation. Therefore, staff is requesting the council to approve the new location if the council finds it appropriate. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Ms. Nambar. Any questions, comments? No, good, go ahead.
Layla, where in the park?
So there are several locations in the park, but if we would like to be visible, it will be on Town Street. There are many locations there. There are areas that the plants are not growing there due to the shade, so there are many locations that we can appropriately situate that. If we don't want to be visible from the street, then we can go a little bit to the interior.
No, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about it interfering with the existing uses. The playground, the baseball, the tennis, pickleball, the picnics. I don't want to take away something that's there to put this tortoise.
And we won't. As I said, there are some areas that their walkways in between supposed to be landscape. The landscape is not right, so we can put, and it is on the town street, and it won't interfere with any of those, and that's a very valid point, and we will make sure it won't interfere with any current activities in the park.
There's no other discussion. I'll make a motion to approve Jackson Park as a proposed second location to install the Desert Tortoise Sculpture that was approved and commissioned to artist Peter Hazel by the City Council on March 1st, 2023.
I'll second that. All right, we got a motion from Councilmember Furman and a second from Councilmember Miller. Go ahead and vote. I know, I was gonna say, motion passes 5-0.
Oh, turtle, it jumps.
Thank the Lord.
I missed the T.
We did it.
The dinosaur.
Remember when we used to roll down the hills on North Jackson Park? Maybe we should put it up there on the
Only CB Links up there, right? Put it up there in the middle of CB Link.
All right, and now, Ms. Nambar, we have the Indio Public Arts Works Plan.
Sure. So the other project that you will review is the work plan for the public arts of the city of Indio. These are projects that has been reviewed by, if the IT could put the other slide, that would be great. The slide with number 11.4. So that the work plan has been reviewed by the, I can go back there.
He's asleep.
Yeah.
No, they're two different.
Two different presentations.
No, they're two different.
He has to do it.
Okay.
Matt.
Okay.
Maybe it's in the bathroom or something.
There we go. So,
there we go.
So the plan has been reviewed by the Public Arts Commission once before.
That's the other one.
Nope.
Once before the joint meeting, and recently on September 12, it was reviewed by them based on the comments from the council and joint meeting.
There we go.
There we go. Also, the plan has been reviewed by the staff, city staff, and also by Community Services Commission, because there are some proposals that they needed to review. The plan is basically a tool for implementation for the Arts in Public Places program of the city, gives staff a clear path as what to do on day-to-day, includes the carryover projects and new projects. The carryover projects, as you know, is 9/11 Memorial, which was approved recently, the Desert Tortoise, which you just approved the new location, Desi's mural, Desi Memorial mural, Jackson Bridge mural, Indio mural number 14, which was on Fred Waring Bridge. It is pending due to some visa issues. And also the Indio mural 15, which is on Miles, and the new restaurant, which is in the process. The first project is Monroe Bridge Beautification Project, which has three components. On the right side, you see the current slope of the bridge, which the sand is running. We think if we put something similar to Jefferson Bridge on I-10 with rocks, it will clean it up and avoid the erosion. The second component is just to put a mural on the bridge and on the siding of the bridge. The third component is to create some type of weaving with wires into the chain link. So it kind of like soften the chain link view or image. We think the budget for the mural will be $40,000. For the artwork on the chain link will be $10,000. So total of $50,000. It will be an RFP circulation. We are thinking 8 months to complete it. The other project is Golf Center Bridge, the same way, to put mural and to weave wire images into the chain link fence to soften the view. That includes $20,000 for overall budget. The other one is shade structure. This is on Avenue 46. It's the bridge over the canal. It's a heavy, it's being used heavily by students when they go to school, so we thought to create some, again, weaving art to create shade there and perhaps paint the rusty look of the bridge. That would be appropriate. That's total budget is $25,000. Again, circulation of RFP. Traffic signal beautification program. We think this year we can spend about $30,000, which will be about 16 new boxes, and we think will take around 9 months to get all the images and get it fabricated and installed. Oasis Median Project, as you know, the city is doing a great job of narrowing Oasis and putting bike lanes, and it will look like eventually something like that with the lush landscape. So we think putting vertical elements, because we also talked to the fire department, we can't put anything wide, it needs to be vertical. So we think 5 vertical art elements would be appropriate for $150,000 for 5 pieces. Again, these are just examples to visualize. It won't be these pieces that you'll see. The other project is the new City Hall campus. We think some type of lighting, some type of meta-realistic sculptures. Maybe that's the right one shows a family, so of course it will be Indio family resembling, and there is a kind of like exactly respecting, you know, the veterans, and also lighting. So a combination of these two will be about $250,000. It will be 24 months. Staff has worked with the city manager and city manager's office to make sure that these are appropriate for the new facility.
And so, sorry, that would be for both the statues and the light?
No, one statue and lights.
One statue, one light.
Either one. It's just concepts.
Either one.
It will be both of them. It will be lighting and that. So the light.
Yeah.
And one statue. And then if there is one statue, the price will come down. If it is more statue, the price will stay at $250. There's an Avenue 45 mural. As you go south on Jackson, when Avenue 45 is on your right side, and there is a gym. This building is a gym and also a non-medical transportation facility.
Oh, yeah.
It all the time it gets graffiti, as you see. There are some patches there, so we thought it could be a mural project. It could be a 2D mural, 2-dimensional, or something like that, a 3D mural. So these are inspired by Spanish tiles, and they're colorful. So either way, we can approach the property owner and see which one fits. The price for the regular mural is $40,000. For the 3D mural is more expensive.
What's more expensive? No, I mean, what does it mean?
Like double?
Yeah.
It's almost double. Almost double. This one is the wall on Monroe that it's basically within the John Noble neighborhood, facing Monroe Street from John Noble all the way to that vacant property north of Kaiser building. So we thought maybe this will be several artists that they can put a mural there, and we think it will be $65,000 and can finish it from the start to end in 9 months. We of course need to get the approval from the property owners because the wall is belonging to the property owners.
And will you also consider some DG in that old LLD that was abandoned?
That will be something that we need to talk to
It
public
could be like
works.
the Monroe thing, the artistic DG.
The rocks and all
Yeah.
The rocks also I will discuss on
With
that
Tim.
with Tim, but yeah, we can figure it out between both. That's not a problem. And then this is a quick mural on Art Center, Coachella Valley Art Center, which will be at the end of the building. And this is something that we budgeting for $5,000 per year. It allows anybody and everybody to come paint a mural there, and every month it will be paint over and the new one will be there with instruction, QR code, and the staff will staff it, and also the paint will be provided to them, no spray paint. So it will kind of create a synergy with everything going on there, so people also have another thing to do when they are visiting the downtown.
Why no spray paint?
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Why no spray paint?
Thank you. No, it's not.
spray
Watch
paint.
the
No.
PBS programs. If you
Because-
watch the PBS programs,
there's
all the artists are
parking.
I was
using
just
it.
spray painting at home.
Because there's parking and there's wind, we don't want paint get on the cars.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So how will you decide what it does? We make like a 12-month list or something? So that it
So-
continues
so-
to roll?
So we will have a QR code there so they can scan it and all the information will come to their cell phone.
But
So-
how
No,
are they
but how will
chosen?
we pick them? I mean, are you gonna pick 12 at a time and then those
No,
keep rotating?
anybody can come and paint and they know we're gonna paint over.
Once a month you
Correct.
pick somebody?
We paint over it and they can. So when they go there, if I was the first person has a mural, somebody else could come and draw on my mural, or they can respect it and then go
To the side.
to the side.
But then are they showing you what they're going to paint before they paint it?
No. We have the rules, so it will be like no nudity, things like that.
Sounds like a
So,
disaster.
yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, that'd be fun. That sounds
I
fun.
like the idea.
Layla, I like the concept, and if you remember, maybe a year, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I floated the idea that they do in Kalamazoo. They have a whole grass area where they have wood set up where people could come, and there's a sign up that says, you could go ahead and do your artwork, which is spray paint, but if you cover somebody's, take a photo of it, and the city will upload it to their website so you can see the art. There's a lot of artists here. One a month, that's going to be tough to manage, but I'm pretty sure you could get it done. The only thing I just say is, when we're doing all this stuff, I hope we take into consideration, sometimes simple is good, and I see a lot of these art pieces and they're very expensive, but if we look outside at Club 5, they just put a mural up of some pop culture, which I've been asking for years. Could we get some pop culture going to the festivals on that wall of John Noble's? I think it'd be a great, just let's tell the history of our festivals, or all the festivals, not just the Coachella Fest, but Tamale Festival, whatever it is. I think that'd give us a good opportunity. It's simple. We have the local artists who could do it as well, and that's just from a conceptual point. But I'll let you continue. I'm sorry, I just had to get that.
Good idea.
Not at all. If you would like me to go back and decide a theme for any of the projects,
No,
I can
but
do
like
that.
that idea.
But it just stopped me.
No,
Whenever you think.
that was kind of like what we did with Symbolic K at the Carry On Park. It's like it's leading to the festivals, so people could get that experience. I know we floated the idea of having a festival museum, and we haven't got there yet. But at least if they could see some artwork in some of the art in public places, they could get a feel what the festivals are. Day Festival, Coachella Music Fest, Tamale Festival. You know,
Power Trip, all
Power
the other
and all
ones,
that, yeah.
put one up of different murals of different things and different acts and everything else over the years.
Agreed. Yeah, kind of like Skip's Little Bar's bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Or the fair queens that are no longer there.
I know. Decoupage and on.
That's that tell our story thing. We tell our story.
Yep.
And I believe this is the last one. This is an artist that I came across by searching. He does these ground murals, which some of them are on vacant properties with sand or by the beach or by the solar plant or on grass. And he uses eco-friendly paint, and he painted over. On the sand, it lasts up to 6 months, but it seems like they're very powerful. So that's why we added to the work plan to see if this is something the council would like to consider. Of course, the budget is $85,000. It's a little bit steep, but we may be able to get some partnership with other art organizations to kind of like share the price to some point, if the council is interested. If it's not, we can just delete it from the work plan.
I wonder if Desert X would be like willing to bring.
That's what my thinking is, but I haven't told them yet because I wanted to know the council is okay
Yeah,
with
I
it.
think you guys would have to think about where it might fit, because that's the biggest challenge.
So we have the sports parks property, which could be usable in meantime before we start construction. It's very central to Indio, so that was staff's.
Just remember, we get a lot of dust storms, so
That's true.
it would need to be protected in that area because
That's correct.
there's so much dust.
That's absolutely
I mean,
correct.
I would even recommend, I know the sports park is there, but we have 20 acres behind the marketplace.
Behind the
that
mall
needs some
too, yeah.
TLC as
I
well.
forgot about that because okay, yeah, that's a good,
But I
good
think,
location too.
I don't know if I'd want to spend city's 85,000.
For
You know,
6 months.
if
I don't
Desert
either.
X was willing, if they were looking for a space to do a project like that, then
We
maybe.
could partner.
Yeah.
We've talked about going with Golden Voice on one. I didn't see any artwork here for Golden Voice. When I talked to Perry, who's one of the artists in that, I told him that we're looking at material that would last longer. So he's more than happy to build it. You know, he's a welder by trade, so he's more than happy to build it and look at the ones we have to make sure we don't have to spend as much maintenance. But we should try and get at least one piece every year from the festivals. I'd rather spend the money on the festival and bring it here than I would to spend $85,000 on something that could get destroyed by people either walking on it or people that in the sand. You know, we had that one good rain again, it wiped the whole thing out. And there's 85,000 down the drain, plus people tromping through the dirt out there and everything else. If it was somewhere where we had a big event, like why we're doing the Tamale Festival or one of the concerts, we wanted to do it, put it out there where people could take pictures, I could see that. But just to put it out in the middle of somewhere else, I'd rather get a nice art piece. You know, this is like we have the ones that Dr. Carey on. That'll be a statement piece forever. People always know that. Same with that. And we have a partner with it. So they're willing to go half with us. I believe that's what he said they would do.
I don't know, play with it. It's a powerful statement.
I love it. But I just don't know what we do with
I
it
don't know
unless
either.
it's actually an event where people go out to.
So if we can partner and then the price comes down and the staff brings it back to the planning, to the Arts Commission and the council, would you recommend doing that?
Yeah, if the price, if we weren't paying the full price for it, then I'd be more open to it. It's just really temporary, you know, and so for
It is very
85,000, that's a really high price for a very temporary. And like you're saying, if a good rain comes in or something like that, then
I could see it
it's a
on the
little
way
risky.
to the concerts where everybody could stop, or that time of the year where we have a lot of people coming in, where it's a statement piece, kind of like we put up the Indio sign. I mean, it was simple. It was just our Indio letters, but everybody took a picture with it. To see that there, all the 120,000 people, and have Indio or something on it, and they all take a picture while they're standing there. I mean, that would be worth the advertising.
I could see it at the Tamale Festival.
Yeah, somewhere where somebody just says, and like they all take pictures with it, and it has something to do with Indio or something that brings back the name of Indio. Then you're marketing yourself forever. People will have pictures up there.
Because
So,
also,
some
how
good
do you-
opportunities.
how are you going to take a picture with it though if it's so
If it-
large? Right?
yeah.
You need a
You
drone.
need a drone.
Right.
Yeah.
And drones are illegal unless you're a pilot.
So.
Everything's.
I know.
Nah, just kidding.
But then
No
if
spray
you're not
paint,
going to
no
take a
drones.
picture, you're not going to see it. How are you going to get the real effect of it if you're not
you
going to be
can
able to
take a
stand there
picture
and look
like
at it?
that.
You see what I'm saying too? If you can't take a picture on it and see what it is, how are you going to take a picture with you standing there with that? Because you're going
No,
to.
you're gonna be selfie.
It would have to be like
Selfie stick.
under a bridge or something,
Yeah.
right? Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
think
something.
these are
we'll
all-
figure it out.
yeah.
I do love the piece though. I think it's
You know,
Yeah.
powerful.
if you actually had it within the festival grounds and you were on the tower and you could see it down, that'd be pretty
So
Yeah,
I
that was up to
actually
them, yeah.
contacted festivals, Paul Clemente, but they were like really hesitant because all the grass area is heavily walked over.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
doesn't
it goes from
survive.
green to dirt back to green again.
And you know what? Hey, those concerts are cool, but they're once a year. I want something that our entire community can enjoy for a lot longer.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think these are all cool ideas. I mean, it's reminiscent of the chalk art festival we used to have that I used to thought was really kind of cool too. And that way it gets people in the community involved. If I may, thank you a
You're
million
very
times, Layla. This presentation is just awesome. I really appreciate the time you took to set the parameters, to say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're thinking, this is how much it's gonna cost, this is how much it's gonna take. That's never happened before. And it's something we've all wanted and been asking, and so I appreciate very much that you've engaged us, that you're absolutely so incredibly creative, and look at the conversation that spawned from just this one thing. Please, keep up the good work.
Are you going to make a motion then?
No, wait, are we done yet? No.
I think so.
That
I
was
think
it?
that's the last
That was the
one.
last slide.
She said that
There
was
you
it?
go, that's
Okay,
it, that's
cool.
what she said, all right. Let's see, what is the recommendation? I'd like to make a motion to review and approve the Indio Public Arts Work Plan fiscal year 23-24 and appropriate a recommended budget.
Come on, somebody.
Second.
There you
All
go.
right, we got a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second from Mayor Pro Tem. Go ahead and vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Namvar. Appreciate it. Do we have any other public comments since the last one?
Uh-oh, here comes Al.
Here comes the big
Ah.
Al. Big
That's,
Al.
that's why I asked.
Only when I see the city manager and I get into tener un pleito con él. You know, it's so funny. She come and telling you about the art. Remember, Lupe, about 20 years ago when I wanted to make a partner with Home Depot and some people and put a fund together and get plywood and get the kids to make murals with the spray paint when he was spray painting walls too. I figured, you know, that we can. When Mr. Ortiz was painting walls, okay, you know that. Okay, so anyway,
Hey, that's
you know,
I don't mean to take his time, but graffiti is actually not graffiti. Vandalism is not my thing. That's a pet peeve.
and everybody laugh about it. You know, we're talking about it, and I say, you know, that would be a good way to keep the kids and give them some money on it. Still, it's a tremendous idea that we can go, and that way maybe the kids can stop graffitiing the wall. And that was one of my points on it. And I say we can get Home Depot to donate the paint, and we can put a fund together. Still a good idea to put around the thing. And anyway, Furman, you know, let me tell you something. After all the time, your mom and peace be, and all the years that we passed, exactly 43 years for the Indio Fashion Mall, you remember Mrs. saying when she come, no, your mom remember, you maybe not, you were a little kid, and she come to this place and told us, Lupe, the mall, you guys will never see that mall made in your guys' lifetime. Oakley died. Every SOB that used to be in the city council, and you know me, died. So she was right? She was correct. And I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime after all the bullshit and the harassment I was passed through. And I'm still passing, they're still passing me through bullshit around, and you know that. But anyway, it's unbelievable. But everything they done to us in that neighborhood, we should go and make them do something with the back lane there, maybe get all the kids doing the graffiti there or doing art things and all the land there to put the thing. So, you know, it's just our history, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing Layla didn't bring up is the cups and the chain link that the kids do.
Yeah, that used to be a nice thing too.
Yeah, kids at schools get those solo cups, colored ones.
Oh, yeah.
Put it through the chain link and do art. Yeah.
You didn't want the rest of your time?
Do you have more time?
No, you're good.
I have one more, Mayor.
All right. Go ahead. There you go.
Good evening, everybody. It's exciting to come to council meetings, right? My name is Juvenal Gonzalez. I am a resident, business owner, born and raised in the city of Indio, 89, a little younger guy. But I also chair the City of Indio Chamber of Commerce. And really I want to introduce myself and thank you for that partnership that we have and continue to develop a resource for the businesses in the City of Indio. So expect to kind of see us a little bit more, or at least me, I've committed myself to come out to the Planning Commission meetings and also the City Council meetings, just to kind of see what's going on and deliver that news back to the Chamber and the local businesses that are of impact. Obviously, your decisions are impacting our business community. So I'm excited to be here and to work with you guys and see how else I can support you in your endeavors and relay messages back to the Chamber and to the board that I chair, which is near and dear to our hearts here at the City of Indio.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for
So
joining us.
10:30 a.m. ACDC is where you need to be tomorrow. Really, it's a press conference. 10:30 a.m. at the ACDC.
Which is the old Club 5 or
Club
the
5.
Reno.
Sounds good.
Be there or be square.
See ya. Right. Anything else? Good to go. All right. Next council meeting is October 18th. We'll see you there. We'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thanks.
Are we all going to be in costume or?
Oh, we
October
should.
18th?
Yeah.